Trump is growing increasingly frustrated with what he sees as the US military's fear and caution about entering a full-scale war with Iran. New reports have revealed an intense internal tussle between Trump and his top advisors over whether, when, and how to launch potential strikes. He is said to be annoyed that his team cannot present truly effective military options that would deliver a quick, decisive outcome. A fresh revelation from his special envoy has added to the drama. Trump is surprised that Iran has not blinked or surrendered yet. Military leaks say America's top general has serious reservations about a war with Iran, and has quietly advised caution behind closed doors. Trump is now trying to limit the political damage from those leaks about General Caine, pushing back hard against claims that his top officer is against an Iran war. US President Trump is reportedly growing frustrated with the constraints on using force against Iran, believing those limits undermine his leverage and image of strength. This development was reported by CBS News on February 22 to 23, citing multiple anonymous national security sources familiar with the internal debates. Trump has been told that any strike on Tehran's assets would almost certainly not be a singular, decisive blow, but rather the opening move in a much longer campaign. Advisors have warned him that so-called limited strikes could easily open the door to a wider confrontation, rather than forcing Iran to back down quickly. A broader confrontation, they caution, risks drawing US forces into a prolonged conflict across an already restive Middle East, with escalation hard to control. These revelations came just as other reports suggested that key figures inside Trump's inner circle are themselves wary and opposed to a full-scale war with Iran. Trump's top general, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Caine, has reportedly warned the president directly against rushing into a conflict with Iran. Caine is said to have told Trump that there would be significant costs if the United States attacked Iran, not only in casualties but in overall military readiness. According to the Wall Street Journal and other outlets, Caine's warning focused on the severe depletion of US munitions and high-end weapon stocks after years of heavy use. He stressed that the US might end up expending large amounts of air defense munitions, systems that are already in limited supply and cannot be quickly replaced. Caine further warned that burning through those significant weapons could seriously curtail America's ability to counter China in a future war over Taiwan or elsewhere in the Indo-Pacific. In addition, Axios and other reports say Caine cautioned that a major campaign against Iran could leave the United States stuck in a prolonged conflict, with no easy exit strategy. In response, Trump later came out publicly to deny that General Caine is against war with Iran, insisting there is no split between him and his top military advisor. The US president accused what he called the fake news media of spreading falsehoods about internal discussions, saying journalists had twisted or invented the general's advice. Meanwhile, Special US Envoy Steve Witkoff revealed that Trump is genuinely surprised that Iran is still defiant, wondering aloud why Tehran has not yet capitulated under intense pressure.
I don't want to use the word frustrated. It's almost because he understands he's got plenty of alternatives. But it's curious. He's curious as to why they haven't, I don't want to use the word capitulated, but why they haven't capitulated. why under this sort of pressure with the amount of sea power, naval power that we have over there, why they haven't come to us and said, we profess that we don't want a weapon, so here's what we're prepared to do. And yet it's hard to sort of get them to that place. They've been enriching well beyond the number that you need for civil nuclear. It's up to 60%. They're probably a week away from having industrial grade bomb making material, and that's really dangerous.
In recent weeks, the United States has greatly expanded its military presence in the Middle East, moving more ships, aircraft, and missile defenses into the region. America's largest and most advanced warship, the USS Gerald R. has also been deployed closer to Iran as part of this military buildup. The USS Gerald R. arrived in port at Souda Bay on the Greek island of Crete on February 23, placing the carrier at a key gateway to the eastern Mediterranean. The island hosts a major NATO military base, making it a strategic facility for projecting air and naval power into the Middle East and beyond. USS Ford will join the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group and other U.S. aircraft squadrons already operating in the broader region near Iran. Patriot and THAAD air defense systems have been reinforced across bases in the Middle East to protect American troops and infrastructure from possible Iranian missile or drone attacks. Pentagon officials say these deployments are defensive in nature, arguing that the buildup is meant to deter escalation rather than to signal an immediate push for war. At the same time, Washington and Tehran are scheduled to hold a third round of indirect nuclear talks in Geneva on February 26, keeping a diplomatic track open even as forces mobilize. However, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has warned that the nation will strike back if attacked, stressing that Iran will not accept negotiations conducted under military threat. Araghchi said Iranian missiles can hit Israel again, as they did in June 2025, while also claiming that Tehran is putting new concessions on the table in an effort to avoid a catastrophic war.